This is your Bible Geeks Daily Download, Conflict Without. While Nehemiah led the people to restore Jerusalem's walls, the surrounding nations were far from supportive. To think this feeble band of God's people could rebuild the defenses of their once glorious city seemed laughable to many. So if the work weren't challenging enough, Nehemiah also dealt with external pressure from their critics.
When dealing with external pressure, we need to handle criticism. In Nehemiah 4 verses 3 and 4, we read what Tobiah the Ammonite said. Yes, what they are building, if a fox goes up on it, he will break down their stone wall. Hear, O our God, for we are despised. Turn back their taunt on their own heads, and give them up to be plundered in a land where they are captives. As Nehemiah heard the taunts of their critics, he called on God to defend them. When we're working together toward growth today, expect criticism from the world. Don't let it stop you. And while they rail against our efforts, remember that we cannot fail with God on our side. Acts 5:38-39. So how will you handle criticism on your journey towards growth?
And we need to avoid the trivial. In Nehemiah chapter 6 verses 2 through 4, Sanballat and Geshem sent to me, saying, "Come and let us meet together at Hakkephirim in the plain of Ono." But they intended to do me harm. And I sent messengers to them, saying, "I am doing a great work, and I cannot come down. Why should the work stop while I leave it and come down to you?" And they sent to me 4 times in this way, and I answered them in the same manner. Nehemiah's enemies tried unsuccessfully to distract him, but he recognized that there were weightier matters that required his attention. If we allow ourselves to be distracted by the trivia of the world, our progress toward growth will stop. Sometimes it's better to say no. So are you allowing distraction to pull you away from the important work that you should be doing?
Finally, don't pick a fight. In Nehemiah 4 verses 16-18, we read, "From that day on, half of my servants worked on construction and half held the spears, shields, bows, and coats of mail. Each labored on the work with one hand and held his weapon with the other." The enemies of God's people wanted them to stop building and come out to fight. But Nehemiah came to build, not to battle. He didn't look for a fight, and he didn't run from one either. Sometimes we have to fight for the faith, but often we should mind our own business and focus on the work. John 21:19-23. So what are you more focused on, building or fighting?
May God strengthen us when dealing with external conflict this year. Let us never be stopped by criticism, avoiding the world's distractions, and remaining focused on the work we're here to do. Thanks for tuning in, and may the Lord bless you and keep you today.
Shalom.